hi Kevin. Hi Kirti. Hi
Oh,
Mohit. Hi Harshita. Hi Om. Hi Shreya. Welcome to Karsa Vadodara, everyone.
hi, Sujal.
Hi Kevin. Hi again.
Hi, Harshil. How are you? Long time no see.
Hey, yes, we met after such a long time now.
Yeah.
Yep. How is going on your end?
Oh, everything's great. I'm just chilling right now.
Nice.
Hi Anish. Yeah, you'll get the recording mostly afterwards, in a couple of days. But we'd like for you to join in again and try if the internet works for you. Thank you. Is everyone able to hear me properly? If you can drop a thumbs up in chat or okay or yes, anything. Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Harshita. Thank you, Harshvardhan. Also, if every one of you can just turn on your cameras for quite a bit, we'll have a quick round of intros in a while. So if you're comfortable at that time, that's also okay. But yeah, we'll be starting at like 9:10 or so. We'll wait for people to join in until then. Hi, I see new faces coming in this time. Quite happy to see them. Hi, Rishabh.
Hello.
Hello, hello, sir.
Yes, buddy.
Okay, quick round of questions like how many of you were present in Cafe Cursor Vadodara back in December? Anyone over
Yup.
here? You can drop a yes in the chat or anything. Oh, that's nice. Familiar faces around. Yeah, that's quite great. Ayan was there. I see Harshvardhan. I see Soham. That's nice. Cool. So you all might know how fun it was at Cafe Cursor. Hoping to host one more soon. Hi, Dipti. So we'll let people join in until 9:10 and then we'll start off with the event. Ashish, hi Ashish.
Hey, hey, good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir. So we have plenty of faces joining in over here. Love to see them. Yeah. Updates on Cursor Hackathon Ahmedabad related to approvals. Well, the Cursor ambassadors will be approving soon. in this upcoming week. So that is all I have to share. But yeah, you can ask them in AMS. So anyone using Grok 4? Yeah, yeah, we have used Grok 4.5. Perfect. So I think let's start with the event. A thumbs up from everyone. Yep. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Happy to see you all. Oh, cool. Yeah, I hope you all are able to see my screen now. Yes. Perfect, perfect. So yeah, again, welcome everyone. Kem Cho Vadodara. Thanks for spending your Sunday night with us, and welcome to Cursor Vadodara community to all of you that have joined us with us over here. Quick first things first. Well, who am I? My name is Rujal Shah. I'm the Cursor ambassador for Vadodara and founder at Apixel Labs. Someone who's been obsessed with AI assisted development over the past years. Outside of Cursor, I spend most of my time building products, communities, and experimenting with AI workflows. And today's event isn't a workshop, right? It's about bringing together builders who are curious about what's possible with Cursor, learning from people who already are pushing its limits like Herschel and Shrey, and ultimately bringing a stronger community together. Some of us we might have met at Cafe Cursor back in December, and this is again we are kicking off the community again at Vadodara. So hoping to see you all there. Well, what is Cursor? As most of us know over here, like Cursor is an AI native code editor that understands your entire project, writes code, fixes bugs, all things that you need as a software engineer, all under one hood. Well, it is the leading AI platform for a professional software engineer, and you can access all the frontier models like Opus, or maybe if it is GPT or Grok or anything, all are ready to for you to use at Cursor. Think of ChatGPT plus VS Code as Cursor. So some of you might think that where can I use Cursor? Well, most people think that Cursor is just an IDE, but it's much more than that. Well, now you can even run cloud agents to handle long-running tasks in the background, or even automate repetitive engineering tasks with automations. We'll go through all of this in quite a while. So today's meetup is like a lightweighted Cursor updates meetup all for you, along with some great sessions with the speakers. So stay tuned till the end because we do have some surprises for those who stay till the end. So also like use the Cursor CLI to bring your AI into your terminal and CI/CD workflows, and also available in IntelliJ or PyCharm and JetBrains as you can see. Now let's make the room more known. Like let's get to know each other in a quick round of intros. Tell us your name, what do you do, one fun thing about yourself, and you have 30 seconds to go with. Anyone who would like to voluntarily start off, you can just unmute yourselves and go ahead. Or we can maybe go with like alphabetical order. Maybe Herschel, you can start off with that, and we can have the next person going on for the quick round of intros. Okay.
So hey guys, I'm Herschel Parikh. I'm the founder of Productica AI. We basically, so I won't go much in detail for Productica, but
Mhm.
I love AI and stuff, and I'm working somewhere in an US company as well, and so with Cursor it is always like a love relationship with Cursor because before all this AI things started and the black box and everything, Cursor was the only place to go ahead with, and
Right.
we had great amount of funds, billions of tokens used and stuff, but it was great to have Cursor.
Nice, nice. That's a great intro to start off with. Astha, I'm just checking the list of participants. If you're comfortable, just have a thumbs up or something, and I'll call out your name, or we can just go ahead with this. Astha, if you'd like to go ahead, that would be great. Hi, Astha, are you with us? Okay, anyone else? Like Vaidyanathan Iyer, if you want like to go next.
Hi everyone. My name is Vadodara, and I've been associated with uh, Cursor in general as a product for about quite some time,
Mhm.
and I think it's dedicated to real engineering and all of the core engineering workflows that is there in place. All of the features helps us really uh, execute them. And talking about what I do, I'm into conversational AI, and I have a startup that builds a platform for enterprises, helping them build conversational AI agents for any industry and any use case that they might think of. And Cursor is the critical backbone of it. So yeah, every day is a new day.
That's great to know from you. Yeah. Kevin, if you'd like to go next. Hi, Kevin. Okay. Might have some messages here. Chinmay?
So, hey guys, I'm Chinmay Sawant and I'm basically into Cursor since like last year, you can say. I think me and Sujal were the best. We started together, yeah, I think so, you know. And yeah, I'm mostly into distributed systems and AI stuff, and I love to make projects. And you can found me on Twitter or in the Cursor community as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much it from my side.
That's great. That's good to know. Anish, you'd like to go next?
Hi, I'm Manish. I work at LangChain. I do lots of AI coding, been using Cursor for a while. Yeah, that's about it.
Jignesh? No. Parth, you'd like to go next? Parth Goel. Soham, am I audible?
Hello, I'm Sohan. I'm a full stack developer and I like to build apps with Cursor, Clawful, and other agentic harnesses. And you can connect with me on Twitter or Cursor community. And my Twitter username is Programmer Sohan. So you can check that out as well.
Some of those is from the community. That's great. Like Jay Shah, you'd like to go next?
Hello, my name is Jay. I'm currently a student and also a freelancer. So yeah, that will be all about me.
Okay, okay. Well, Harshit Parma, you'd like to go next? Okay, Jeet. Yeah, you can just drop in your intros or your socials in the chat as well if you're comfortable with that. But yeah, we'll make it quick. So I'll just call out names accordingly. Harsh Kaptan, you'd like to go next? Hi, Harsh again. Hi from the previous event.
Hello everyone. So my name is Harsh Kaptan. I just graduated from the Parole University,
Mhm.
and also I am into Web3 and AI.
That's great. Cool, cool. Yeah. Om Makwana, you'd like to go next? Cool. Mohit. Yeah, Rishabh. Rishabh, you'd like to go next?
Hello.
Hi,
Yes. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Rishabh this side. So, talking little about me, I have hosted a couple of events and contributed into communities. Beyond that, obviously, I love to work with AI tools and explore how they can help me out and iterate over the things. Obviously, because I'm sparing the Sunday evening here in the event. And yeah, and love to see the familiar faces and community people here.
Nice, nice. Manish, you'd like to go next?
I think I did. I gave the
Okay,
invite. Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
called out Anish on that. Cool, cool. Shubham? Okay. Shreya? Okay. Ashish, where you'd like to go next?
Sure. Just a second, and hope I'm visible.
Yep.
Okay, hi. I'm Ashish, and I'm a fellow digital creator in Vadodara. Been moving around communities and a fan of how Strugel and team organizes their events. So I'm here to witness today's event. But yes,
That's
I'm
good.
also roaming and exploring the areas of AI-assisted coding and development. So been exploring tools like Lovable, Emergent, and moving towards training others, training corporate folks and execs as to how such tech products work. So yes, here to learn and explore with everyone.
That's great. That's great. Well, Darwin, you'd like to go next? Okay, okay.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Darwin.
I hope I'm visible.
Yep.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Dalman, and so I'm a developer building in Web3 and AI. And yeah, I freelance on the side, and I've been using Cursor on and off since the start. And yeah, one thing that about me non-tech is that I play the piano sometimes, and I really love music. So yeah, that's it. And I watch F1. So yeah, anyone
Wow.
wants to chat about that for sure. Yeah, I guess that covers it.
Cool. Well, I think we are running late on the intro, so if anyone wants to voluntarily give their intro, they can just raise their hands, or we can move ahead with the sessions now. I'll just wait for a couple of seconds for anyone to respond.
Hey everyone, so my name is Hers. I'm a student as well as founding engineer at We Build Things. So we help companies or founders to scale their products or even build their vision into a product, and we do it from 0 to 1. Apart from that, I'm also into the space and heavy user of Cursor. To be very frank, my most of the work runs through the Cursor. So that is one thing that is extra. Yeah. And if you are talking about that off tech, then I love to play chess. So we can talk about that as well, or maybe play along as well.
That's good. Well, Parth, yeah, you can go ahead, Parth.
Hello everyone. I hope I am audible.
Yep, you are.
Hello everyone. Myself Parth. I enjoy building projects around AI and security, and I usually find myself more into cybersecurity domain than other domains. And I love solving problems and learning. And one fun thing about me is I also love watching F1. So one of the guys here was talking about it. And other one thing about me is that I can spend hours brainstorming project ideas. So you will probably find me more in hackathons than in 3 accounts.
That's great. That's great. Perfect. So I think we can start off with the sessions lined up ahead of us. So yeah, let's start with now that we have seen where cursor is headed and we know the room and why it's becoming such an important part of modern software engineering. We'll quickly walk through the building blocks that every cursor user should know before we jump into more advanced workflows and the sessions. So let's start off with MCPs, right? So think of cursor without MCPs as someone sitting next to you giving an advice. Helpful, but they can't actually do anything. What MCP does is once you add an MCP, it's just like giving that teammate access to your GitHub, Figma, or whatever tool that you are using in day-to-day lives or one-off tools. Now they don't just suggest the next step like an LLM does. They can actually help execute the LLM, whatever you want to do with that tool. So that's where the real productivity gains come from. Well, when should you use MCPs? So I'll say use MCPs when cursor needs to interact with something outside of your code base. Like think GitHub, Figma, Notion, databases like Supabase, or your cloud. Like wherever cursor needs live context or has to perform an action, an MCP is usually the answer. Like it is like an API attached with an LLM used along with it. Well, we also need to know when not to use MCPs. Don't use MCPs for everyday coding like people do. I'll tell you when not to use an MCP in the further slides as well. And writing components, debugging, Cursor is already great at that because everything it needs is inside your project. So here's the simplest rule you'll remember today. Like If the answer already exists in your code base, you probably don't need an MCP. Many people do this, like I have 13 MCP installed in my code base, and a common mistake is installing all this and leaving them on enabled. So every enabled tool becomes another option for the agent to consider. Well, keep only the MCPs relevant to your current task and disable the rest from the tools and MCP settings or directly in chat. One of the most asked question is, do MCPs consume tokens? Well, yes, but not in the way most people think about it. The AI still uses model tokens to decide when and how to call a tool. MCP is just an API call with like tool, make a tooling calling along with an API. So the MCP server handles the tool execution itself. It doesn't use your token. But yeah, maybe they have the rate limitings on their side and they'll allow accordingly join that. Well, where can I find MCPs? So there are various platforms like Cursor Marketplace. You can find it directly over there, or there is also like open source libraries like MCP Marketplace and websites like those where you can find all the MCPs. And if you are wondering where to start, these are my recommendations. Like you can use Exa for AI-powered search. Also, you can consider Google's MCP now for search. Yeah, so what it does is it searches the live web for you to get all the context from the and data for it. And well, you can, some of us are designers over here. Well, you can use the Figma MCP for design to code, and you can even use the shared CN MCP for faster UI development. Even Playwright MCP is there for browser testing and Firecrawl for web scraping and documentation. These five alone can save hours every week. Well, let's move to the next part. What are skills? So many of us might have known about skills from now. Well, what is a skill? Think of skills as reusable expertise for your AI. Instead of rewriting the same prompts every day, you package them into your reusable workflow. A skill is mainly a directory. A skill is a simple folder where skill.md defines the instruction. You can give references in for additional context, and the scripts folder can contain executable code to automate tasks when needed. So every skill starts with just two required fields, a name and a description. The description tells cursor exactly when what the skill does and when it should automatically use it. So you can invoke any install skill by simply typing forward slash in agent mode. And the best part, thousands of community built skills are available at skills.sh. You can check them later on. And let's see one of those. And this is one of the skills that I built for myself right now. Like instead of researching basic things like niche, competitors, company background, etc., manually, every time I audit a client's project, I simply invoke this skill. So it already knows the workflow that I use for client research, the checklist, and then the expected output. Let me quickly show you how it works. So yeah, here is a video for it. And as you can see, well, install command just installs the skill as running one the terminal command. Run it by typing slash agency client skill and enter any website of your choice along with it. Here I've used the cursor.com website. Now you have all the information in the skill.md. It defines what the skill does. In the reference, it contains the complete 16-step workflow and execution guidelines that I use to research for myself. Then in templates, I have like, I need this template. I need this particular output. So it does that. And curl tools and Excel limits, it basically researches the web for me about that company. And just after that, you get a whole formatted report over in your report, as you can see in the screen itself. It gives you a proper 16-step formatted report along with clients. You get design inspirations. So it's very easy for agency owners like me in order to like research about the client. And again, like five great skills you are worth exploring are slash create skill helps you build your own reusable skills in Cursor itself. Now, slash front end design is an official scale by Anthropic. It improves front end implementation, and we can take questions in a while, Punendu. We'll have an AMA session as well, an open QA session as well. We can enter in questions at that time. You can write it in the chat, that's no problem. Yeah. So the slash front-end design is an official skill by Anthropic. It improves front-end implementation by applying production grade UI, considering anti-AI slop. Yeah. And slash UI Pro Max again focuses on UI and UX quality of your project. Now you have this slash MCP builder, which generates MCP servers from a description, as we know now what MCP server is. And one of my favorites is also this brand guidelines, where you can just simply drop in your color palette, logo, rules, voice and tone, and approved typography. And this is a very useful skill for social media marketers or even like content creators, where you can generate consistent brand assets in the agents itself. So yeah, that is all about skills. Now we'll go to plugins. Well, what are plugins? If skills are reusable workflows, plugins are complete packages of like MCPs, skills, agents, commands, hooks, everything. So you get all of this bundled in a package and you don't have to like install everything on its own. Instead of configuring everything manually, you can just install one plugin and you are ready to go. A plugin can be bundled by any of these components like rules, skills, agents, commands, MCP servers, hooks. It all is over there. And where you can find this plugin is Cursor's plugin ecosystem, where in the marketplace is growing rapidly. So some of my favorite include Figma, Notion, Webflow, Cloudflare, Resend, and Epify. Well, they extend Cursor beyond coding and connect it directly to the tools you already use every day. So yeah, that is all about Cursor basics, and these are the building blocks that will help you get much more out of Cursor than simply treating it like another AI chatbot. But Cursor is evolving incredibly fast. So almost every few weeks, there's a new feature, workflow, or capability that changes how developers build software. So before we hear from our speakers, let's take a quick tour of some of the biggest Cursor updates and announcements. Let's start with one of the biggest announcements in AI recently, when Soham asks for it right now, Grok 4.5. If it is SpaceX AI's smartest model built to excel at coding, agentic tasks, and knowledge work. Grok 4.5 is highly competitive across coding tasks like and even on frontier models on Terminal Bench, SWE Bench, and Deep SWE, while staying competitive with GPT 5.5 and now even 5.6 is out and Opus 4.8. So let's watch a demo of it over here. Yeah, so that is Grok 4.5 for 4.5 for you. Someone just told me that my audio is not audible in the share screen. I'll just share my screen again. Visible now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yep. So next up we have Cursor mobile app for iOS. Well, the cursor is no longer tied to your desktop. With the new iOS app, you can start cloud agents, monitor their progress, review pull requests, and merge changes all from your phone itself. And Android users aren't left out either, like me. You can access the same experience through the web as a progressive web app. Let's look at it in play by our favorite Lee Robinson.
Cursor now has a mobile app. I want to show you 3 ways I'm using it. Cursor can test and use my software in the cloud with all the same tools I'd use on my MacBook, and then send me a video demo showing that it works. I can then read the code or give the model feedback, and when I'm ready, merge it from my phone. I usually do these extremely long voice notes where I go into as much detail as possible. I'll be grabbing lunch or even about to fall asleep, and I'll quickly fire off a few agents with ideas I have. When the agent's done, I can get notifications or monitor it using the live activity on iOS. Finally, if I see something off with our UI, I can take a screenshot, then hit markup and actually draw on the UI or leave feedback like tighten up the spacing. I can then follow up with some of my favorite skills like / thermonuclear code quality review, which is a funny name, but it actually works very well. We've also tried to make it really easy to move between your local machine, the cloud, and your phone. And you can use the app as a remote control for agents running on your computer. So that's the Cursor iOS app. Please try it out, and I'd love to hear your feedback.
So yeah, do try it out and let us know how your experience is with the iOS app. And it is quite new, so many of you can experiment around with it. Now, one of the updates lot of you might not know over here is Origin. Well, what is Origin? Origin is like the GitHub for AI agents. Like Origin gives teams and agents a place to host, review, and collaborate on code. It is a code storage and Git hosting solution currently in waitlist, but it will be rolling out soon. So yeah, grab your spots at the waitlist right now at cursor.com/origin. Well, what are cloud agents? Cloud agents use the same agent fundamentals but run in isolated VMs in the cloud with full development environments instead of your local machine. The development environment is similar to the setup on your laptop itself, like cloned repos, installed dependencies, secrets, startup commands, and network access. They launch their own virtual machine, run your project, interact with the browser, all on their own, and test the feature. And you can even record a demo of everything they change. And this is what something we'll be looking forward to in Shrey's session. So yeah, you can start cloud agents from almost anywhere. You can use it via desktop, mobile, GitHub, Slack, automations, you name it. The idea is very simple, like meet developers where they already work. And next up, we have cursor automations. Now imagine your cloud agents running automatically. That's exactly what cursor automations do. Cursor automations run cloud agents in the background, either on a schedule or in response to events from GitHub, GitLab, Slack, webhooks. So you all might know, you all have been through webhooks using it and it and custom code, make.com, all that stuff. It basically invokes an activity in the automation and it runs via schedule, or you can even like schedule it on time frame basis. So we'll see a quick video of it
I'm
by the
Jack.
Cursor
And I'm
team.
John. And today we're launching automations in Cursor.
As agents have gotten really capable at handling work autonomously, we found ourselves kicking them off over and over again for the same type of task. So we thought, why not automate that?
It's been crazy to see the creative use cases that people have come up with. For example, we have an incident triage that gets triggered every time a PagerDuty monitor goes off. This one John loves especially because he hates getting woken up at 3 a.m.
Famously.
We give it the Datadog MCP, and then by the time he rolls out of bed all groggy, the agent has come back with a likely root cause.
So I just need to merge the PR and then I can go back to sleep.
I have a personal automation just for myself. It runs on a nightly cron schedule. It looks at all my PRs from the last day and just cleans up dead code or bad patterns.
We're very fortunate to have this great community of users who are always suggesting new features to build, and we pipe those through from Twitter onto Slack. And now we can just have an agent automatically kick off with every single one and just put up a PR right away.
Some of these features, if they're simple, are actually just getting implemented asynchronously. The way we do software development has changed so much in the last 9 months.
Yeah, and with more software, with more output, you then have more stuff you need to review, more issues you need to triage, more things to manage around software. But a lot of these things are automatable. Thankfully, because we kind of let the agent run free, if you want comments to be inline threaded comments on GitHub, just prompt your agent to do so. If you want it to resolve its past comments, just prompt your agent to do so. All of these things that people are used to kind of configuring with checkboxes, you don't need to do that anymore. Just prompt your
So now if I want to like tell my teammates so to make this particular change or that particular change, I can just set up an automation if like the task is pending. I could invoke it from tagging my teammate in Slack or maybe even reacting to any message. You can see it all in the cursor.com/docs and you can play around with all the automations that you want. Now, one of the craziest thing about this community is there is this slash automate skill. Then let's is anyone unmuted? The slash automate skills lets you describe the workflow you want in plain language. So you just type in that I want this particular automation and Cursor configures the automation's triggers, instructions, and all the tools for you by itself. So that is the slash automate skill file. We'll see a quick demo of it on the screen. So as you can see, you just have to type slash automate and just write the simple prompt in plain language, and the cursor will create the whole automation for you from scratch, along with all the hooks it needs, all the tools that you have, and the instructions you want to give it to the automation. So that is automations for you. And we have this skill that even Lee mentioned in his video. Well, the thermonuclear code quality review skill. This is an official skill by the Cursor team. This is not an update, but something that you should use if you are in the developer perspective. Most AI reviewers tell you whether the code is working or not. Well, this skill asks a much tougher question. Is this the best way to build it? Well, that is what you should ask yourself after you have written the code or after the agent has written the code. It identifies architectural issues, duplicated logic, spaghetti code, and opportunities to simplify the implementation. So this is what we have been following since quite a while. And if you are building production applications, there is definitely a skill worth trying. Well, we have covered what Cursor can do and where the platform is headed. But the real magic happens when experienced builders turn these capabilities into everyday workflows. To show us exactly that, I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Harshil Parikh, founder and CEO at Productica AI, who will be sharing practical AI engineering workflows. Well, over to you, Harshil.
Hey guys, how are you? Uh, so we already know कि हमारे पास already बहुत ज़्यादा AI workflows and सब होता है. ठीक है, we go from traditional workflows, AI engineering workflows and stuff. But today I wanted to make sure that whatever we go through now, right now through the screen, this is mainly towards an enterprise version. There is one thing. Okay. Second thing is understand one thing. Even if you are a freelancer or even if you are a student, make sure your mentality stays with an enterprise version so that you can switch it very easily when your client comes in. Okay. That is one thing. So my session won't be very long, but I'll have a nice live demo as well. Okay, so I performed it once, which I'll show you, and then I'll show you again by live performing it. Okay, so I'll share my screen now. Yep. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
I
it is,
hope so.
Harshil.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So my topic is how AI native engineers build enterprise softwares. So today we'll be covering the problem software engineering isn't about coding, why most AI result feels average, the missing piece, workflows, engineering OS and live demo. अब थ्रू आउट तुम लोग के पास जो भी क्वेश्चन हो ठीक है तुम लोग चैट बॉक्स में टाइप कर देना एंड वंस विल डू द लाइव डेमो उस टाइम पे विल टेक ऑल दोस क्वेश्चंस ओके सो लेट्स स्टार्ट so what's the problem? Okay. So the problem is most engineers use AI as a code generator. Like just think about a student trying to use it for any of their project. Okay. Yeah. Like think for a freelancer trying to create some project for their portfolio. Okay. So most of us, what we do is we go to Cursor, we type in a prompt that, hey, I want to build this, that, and once we do that, then the cursor will give you a plan and then you'll start doing that, right? That is how the general workflow looks like. But enterprise engineering isn't about writing code, okay? It is making better engineering decisions. Now, here one thing which I wanted to share with you guys is, so I had my agency running for 8 years. Then I sold it off. Right now I'm working in a US based company, an AI company. And what I understood one thing here is that this is what I wanted to share with you guys as well, is that the enterprise companies or the AI companies which are heavily funded, or like I saw one of our participant is also from Silicon Valley startup, like he's working there. I guess he might be able to relate it much better. But the thing is, वो लोग वहाँ पे engineering decisions they don't make it on basis of what their audience needs. They make it in an overall hierarchical way. Okay, that they have their X like 5, 7 departments which take all the other things, then they go through it, and every phase is made one by one. Okay, so that is one thing. So here it comes to the next thing, that software engineering isn't coding. So what it is then? So just think about a feature's life cycle. Okay, that there is a feature where we can have like we can see the overall life cycle of it. So feature goes through much more than implementation. Okay, so first is understanding the feature, why we need it, like why our users or why our clients need it. It is one thing. So define the problem and the requirements. Okay, now, if I know there are a good amount of designers here, and I know like that good. So I'm not a designer, but I know that good designers don't directly touch computer. They first take a pen, they make a sketch on it, right, and then they go ahead. I know I believe Kevin might be doing the same thing, but yeah. So that same thing is implemented here as well. So we understand it first, that we define the problem and the requirements. Then we design it. Now in designing, we architect the solution and make the decisions. But how we do it? Like जो आर्किटेक्चर है उसके ओवरऑल का, that is about solution. So it is not about glorifying, UI, or it is about making translucent backgrounds or glass morphism and stuff, but it is about how to make this solution work. Okay, so this is about tech. Then we go to planning. Now we might everyone would be using plan, per type of cursor where we can plan things and then we can start implementing. This is also same thing. Break down the work into plan and break down the work and then plan and execution. Okay, then we go to build. Now here comes the coding part. Okay, so I have made engineering OS a kind of skill. uh, Shrujal already told you guys about what a skill is, how you can use it, and I believe most of us are a pro user, तो सब लोग को पता ही होगा how to use a skill. Okay, so I made a skill. I'll show you that soon. But here is the phase where building comes in. Like इधर code चालू होगा. इसके पहले कुछ भी coding is never there. Okay, then you review and then you ship. But the thing is, why most of the AI results feel average? Okay, why? Like, what do you guys think? I want some of the answers in chat right now. I hope like everyone might have went through this once. Ki AI results feel average. They are not able to grasp what you want to build actually and stuff. But yeah, generic design and stuff. So yeah, that's the thing, that the main part here is that either it is missing the context that we have in our head. Okay. Second thing is it is not able to grab us in a way where we can understand or make it at least thoda better. Okay. Yeah, AI lacks product context. Yep. So the thing is, most prompts look like this. That is build authentication कि hey मेरे को ये बनाना है, तो तुम सीधा बताओगे without giving a overall context of it. Okay, but now understand, if you start giving all the context, then it will use up more tokens. So you need to find a nice sweet spot between giving the proper context and not oversharing with it. Okay, then what they might like, these are the generic things that build an authentication, create a dashboard, generate an API and stuff. But AI starts guessing. So if once you give X amount of gap to an AI, ki, hey, this is something which you need to fill. Like I would give the theme, then it would make the neonish things, right? I hope everyone would agree with that. So fast code is equal to average engineering. So what we need to do here is we need to give a proper context. Okay, what you want to do, you can either give role personas, you can give context, then you can use CTA format, that is context task format and stuff. So you can use multiple things out there, but most of the people try to go ahead with prompt engineering. Okay, but here is the thing, I'll show you the missing piece, that is context engineering. Okay, so AI doesn't need better prompts. तुम GPD पे जाके लिखवाओगे prompts कि hey I want to build this and then create me a prompt for cursor, वो उतना ही खराब होगा जितना तुम्हारा prompt खराब है. वो सिर्फ उसको अच्छे से सिर्फ manage कर रहा है, nothing else. But it needs to have better context. Okay, so give AI enough information to think before it writes. Okay, and always give a power to your AI to ask you questions before implementing. This is one thing which most of the people, like normal average coders, ये भूल जाते हैं. Like they just give an it and then AI starts to guess and then it creates something very bad like a neonish theme and stuff. Okay, I know most of the people of which are currently there would be doing that कि अरे questions पूछ तू मेरे को पूछ. ठीक है, and that would give you also a kind of partner to brainstorm on your idea. It might be कि शायद तुम्हें कुछ extra एक अच्छा piece मिल जाए, right? Yep. So what kind of workflows are there? Okay, so first is a traditional workflow. Okay, now I want to understand, what do you guys understand by traditional workflow? Like it is about कि मैंने अपने एजेंट को दे दिया काम. Okay, या ग्रिल में इज अ ग्रेट स्किल दो एज वेल. सो इट इज लाइक कि मैं अपने एजेंट को बोल देता हूँ कि हे ये तू काम कर ले, इसमें ये देख लेना वो देख लेना. That is a traditional workflow, or giving a proper workflow to it कि hey build me XYZ on basis of this is my inspiration and stuff. So what do you think, what's the traditional workflow? SDIC. Okay, then anyone else? Guys, be active. उठो अभी तो, मतलब कोई बाहर बार तो नहीं है ना? Someone traveling and joining it and stuff. Okay, but the thing is traditional workflows are, yeah, you are traveling actually. I know. It's fine. But I hope you are able to understand it everything. So traditional workflow in Cursor is engineer gives an prompt to Cursor and it codes. That's a baseline. Okay. But here is the thing, it is simple, fast, but it is disconnected from engineering. ये तो सिर्फ एक वो हो गया ना कि you're just giving कि hey build me an authentication system or create a dashboard and stuff. This is normal thing. This can be used for normal small features or small bug fixing and stuff. But if you actually want to create a product, like if you want to actually start a startup or you want to build a product that can be shown to in front of all the people out there or to your clients and stuff, you should always engineer it first. Okay, तो पहले लिखो एक पेपर पे what are the requirements, tech stack, उनको और क्या क्या चाहिए, what could be enhanced, जो तुम्हारे दिमाग में आ रहा है, put everything on that. Okay. Now here comes the AI engineering workflow. Now what do you guys understand by AI engineering workflow? What do you think? I hope Shuklaji again answers, but let's see if like anyone has a slight guess about what AI engineering workflow is, and then we'll take it ahead towards a live demo. But anyone who wants to take a try on what AI engineering workflow is, OpenAI spec for the API. Okay, building with AI by using him as a partner. Yeah, that's good. That's good as well. Like that is a kind of brainstorming partner with you. Okay. और कोई? I want someone else as well. Shukla ji ने आंसर दे दिया. Anyone else? There are how many people out there? Like 39 people. ठीक है, 10 लोग तो आंसर कर ही सकते हैं.
Everyone has a different definition of what an AI is, in my opinion, and also what an AI engineering workflow is. There is no standard definition that,
But that's what I want to know. Like, what's their
yeah,
definition about an AI engineering workflow is, so that it is not about every time that you have a specific workflow, but it is also about hey, you can also implement this in your workflow to make it better, right?
for me
PRD,
specifically,
yeah,
the way I look at it is before AI, I used to spend 8 hours a day writing 100 lines of code. Now I spend 8 hours a day writing 100 lines of prompt.
yeah,
If you write a prompt in 2 minutes and think you're done, I don't think that's a good workflow. For me, it
yep,
looks like working 8 hours a day on either like, when I say prompt, it can be like designing my loop or designing maybe building my own harness for the task,
yeah.
or maybe building my own agent to do the task, or simply just writing the spec. But for me these days, I'm mainly like spending 8 hours a day just on the prompt, and then that prompt, that 100 lines of prompt, will write probably 1,000 lines of code or 10,000
So
lines of code,
that's
depending.
the main thing. Yes, yes, we are exactly on the point. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. Like every engineer has their own AI engineering workflow. Okay, but the main thing is that it should work. That's the main priority. Now, then we can start optimizing it. That hey, this could be go. This could, we can build it better and stuff. But yeah, so what people have seen is PRD to AI review, then AI plan with phases and rules, AI coding and test maybe and deploy. That's a good answer. Then creating loops that automatically resolves issue, creates PR and all. Yeah, that's also good. Like, see, the thing is, there is no right and wrong into this. Okay, everyone has their own way. सबका अगर काम निकल रहा है, then it is perfect. Okay. For coding, I make sure that I have following docs: PRD, scalable systems architecture, phase-wise implementation, create, involving AI to cross-check and validate or optimize the key steps. Yeah. It is when people think that AI can literally do everything without even what the technology can truly do for them. True autonomous engineering agent is still an unfinished work. Yeah. So yep. Everyone is on a right path, and here is what my workflow looks like. Okay. Here's what my workflow looks like. First is a business problem. Like now, think like a founder always. Okay. Like this is a best part of being a founder. If you have a problem, then you will always try to go through this part always. Like एक बार ये दिमाग में set हो गया तो you'll always go through. So how I do is, it is business problem, then I understand it, then I design it, plan, build, review, ship. So जो हमने पहले slide पे देखा about that overall image, I try to make it like a kind of life cycle, okay? So that I have sub agents created for it, or I have a skill which can create multiple docs on the every step where it needs a decision, okay? So the thing is, AI contributes throughout the engineering life cycle. मतलब You're not just using AI to write codes. You're not just using AI to make designs. You're not just using AI to review your what you have created. But here you are like making the AI contribute towards your overall engineering life cycle. Okay. Now let's understand about what my engineering OS looks like. And this is not like the best engineering OS, but this works for me. Like Shuja created his own agent skill, okay, which works best for him. So you guys can see this, and I'll also share our the skill. But if you want to make it better, तो हम MD5 आपके साथ share कर देंगे. You can anyways you can play with that and use it for your guys' skill. And अगर तुम्हें कोई अच्छा चीज लग रहा है, if you guys want to use something, then it's great for me as well. Okay? So first is understand. So here I give my AI a persona of product analyst. Okay. So what we do is it asks what problem are we solving, who are the users, what defines success, what assumptions are we making. Okay. And it creates an engineering brief. So your phase one has everything about understanding. Okay, why are we creating this? Who are we creating it? So that all your second things like designing becomes a bit easy for you to understand it. Okay, rather than creating a mess in your head. Second phase is design. So now your AI becomes a solution architect. Okay, instead of generating code, it designs components, APIs, database, and blah blah blah. But the good part here is it gives you a system design document as an output. Okay, so you can consider this as an architecture for your overall the project you are planning to build, or your for the whatever feature you are building and stuff. Then the phase three is about planning. Now here AI switches the role again. Now the persona is about an engineering manager who milestone create karega, task, dependencies, acceptance criteria, and everything, and then it will create an execution plan, which you guys know as an implementation plan. Okay. Now understand one thing. कर्सर ये एनीवेज करता ही है ओके बट कर्सर का एक प्रीसेट वे है टू डू दिस ओके बट एवरी प्रोजेक्ट इज डिफरेंट नॉट एवरी प्रोजेक्ट कैन गो थ्रू द सेम रूट okay so what we can do is we can create our own skill where we can have our own roadmap and uske base pe AI the cursor and the AI anyways overall the AI IDE can understand and then it can perform better as per your expectations. Okay, then the phase 4 is build. अब जाके AI is actually creating code. इसके पहले there is no one single line or single word of a code. ठीक है, सब कुछ जो भी characters everything is about creating a docs and system architecture and engineering brief and stuff. Okay, now it will understand everything. अब जब तुम coding में like we told about context engineering, right? So context engineering तुम phases में अगर दोगे तो उसके लिए भी ज्यादा अच्छा है to understand it better. Okay, so this does the same work on multiple things. You will give them more information and stuff, and then it will create a nice doc which AI can understand it well, and then it can take it ahead. Okay, and phase 5 is review. Now most of the people whom I have seen coding to AI IDEs and stuff, what they do is they ask that is this code good, is this code secure, can we deploy it, then they try to do stress test again on the same thing. मतलब AI, you everyone knows that AI can hallucinate, right? So you are asking AI again to do the stress test. Okay, so there are multiple plugins, tools available for it, but you should never ask your own AI, ki, hey, is this good? Ki, hey, everything is scalable or not and stuff. So what we do is, what we can ask is, would a staff engineer approve this PR? Okay, so then AI reviews everything: security, performance, maintainability, testing, edge cases, everything. Now here comes the good part. Okay, so I was first planning to build employee leave management system, but it is too into enterprise version. Okay, so being a founder, I have something to ship out in next week. Okay, so what I did is I tried to make that stuff. Okay, and I'll show you that. Uh, just a sec. Okay, so here comes the good part. Okay, so I've installed the skill. I'll give you the GitHub repo as well in the chat. I think my screen is my screen is good to go with you guys.
Your
दिख रहा है सब?
presentation screen is sharing, Harshil. So you'll need to have the ID screen share.
Is it done now?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So I'll give you skill obviously, but what I did is पहले मैंने उसको बोला कि install the skill, ठीक है, वो उसने पूरा उसके साथ skill install किया, समझा what the skill is, okay, then I wrote this, that slash engineering dash os, okay, this is the way you can call your skills, any skills that you did, okay, then I have created, like, this is a normal prompt, like there's a very very normal prompt that you could, you could write it to your friend कि hey मेरे को ऐसा ऐसा कुछ बनाने का है, okay, and I wrote it in a very very bad manner, like it has no role persona, nothing, just like a normal AI user who has zero idea about how skills and everything work, ठीक है. Now what it did is, पहले उसने मेरे को, उसने पहले कुछ समझा, it asked me questions about multiple things, okay, hey, why do you think that, what's your success criteria and stuff, but, and then it created me the overall phases, okay, this thing took only merely about what, 5 to, not even 5, it took around 2 minutes to build the overall thing, okay, उसने जो questions पूछे were also great, so I'll show you that as well, okay, but here is what it created to me, like this is the main thing which I want to show you guys. It is, see, phase one is engineering brief, that what is being built, problem statement, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, assumptions. Now you can see these are the assumptions which AI is already taking. Now here it needs my context, hey, each department has x amount of things, it has own deployment key and stuff जो मैंने नहीं लिखा है इसको, okay, then it created me a system design, like it has an architecture, hey, how everything would look like, okay, what are the major components, camera setup, like it, so this project is about a 3D office, an isometric 3D office which works, okay, but how it works is there is a glb file, that is a 3D file, and that would load in the browser, okay, so उसके हिसाब से it is setting up all the cameras, raycasting जो problems है, okay, which I already told him, and base पे उसने पूरा system design बनाया, okay. Then the third is execution plan, okay. Now I'll give you a nice tip that whenever you use a skill, always try to put it in plan, okay. If you are using any skill which is like your engineering workflow, always use it in plan, so it would work good, like it would work like a charm, okay. So here is what the tech stack are, epics and tasks, ठीक है, इसने हर एक चीज पूरा बनाया, फाइल स्ट्रक्चर कैसा दिखेगा, एवरीथिंग, माइलस्टोन्स, एंड देन द टू डूज which we already हमने पूरा देखा, एंड उसने पूरा रेफरेंस किया हमारे इस एजेंट के चैट के थ्रू, okay. Now we can again create this, we can again start this from scratch, but meanwhile I want you guys to drop whatever your questions are, me by the time I'm using this. So OS. And if anyone has some idea in their head, we can use their idea as well. Yeah. I'm not using this. I'll be using 4.6. I'll be using plan mode, and then I can write to you. तब तक you, if you are, मतलब मैं ये लिखूंगा तब तक you guys also write about your idea, what you want to create, and then we can see it here live as well. But meanwhile I am writing my idea, okay. Okay. मैंने एकदम basic prompt दिया है. You guys can read it. Meanwhile, I'll wait for a minute almost to see what your ideas are, and if you want, we can use that as well. But see, this is what I created. What I wrote is, hey, I want to create an agentic marketplace where users can buy agents and add it in their platform as an employee or something. I'm still brainstorming this idea, but this is what I want to create. Okay. Like Shuklaji says, I want to create a 3D studio which helps me to do all sort of 3D modeling work, but at least let me upload an image for and get a 3D asset from it for my personal use. See, there's a great thing that we can also use it. Okay, there's a good start. Anyone else wants to try something?
We can maybe send it into the plan mode now. I think it is left to enter.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm using Yuklaji's idea. Okay. I wrote this. Let's enter it.
Run it. Yeah.
So here what it will do is जो हमारा पूरा हमने skill बनाया था, it will go through that skill. Okay. उसके base पे it will start करेगी. So see here, it's an engineering confidence कि इसको business context समझा, enterprise constraint समझे, but इसको technical context और architecture context बिल्कुल नहीं समझा. Okay. So उसके base पे it asked me this questions. Okay. कि which scope do you want to commit? Why I'm asking the architecture are fundamentally different from full 3D studio requires a WebGL 3S scene editor with modeling tools, while image to 3D is a pipeline around an AI API. Okay, so abhi ke liye I'm going with the A, that is recommended, that is image to 3D asset converter. Okay, then the second question is what platform form factor. Why I am asking this is it determines the entire tech stack. Web is the easiest to deploy and maintain for personal use. Desktop is heavier but has no server cost. So for now we'll go with an web app. Okay, and for image to 3D feature, which AI backend are you open to? Why I'm asking, some services are paid per use, some are free, self-hosted. This affects architecture heavily. Okay, so for now let's go ahead with Hugging Face, and then we can, yeah. So then we just entered it. ठीक है, अभी ये जो क्वेश्चंस पूछे ना, these are very different questions as well. Just a sec. So yeah, so these are very different stuff overall. Okay, and see what I wanted to say is कि हमने skill के अनुसार, in the skill what I wrote is that it should ask minimal questions but it should combine all the questions at once and then it can take it ahead. Okay, and then it will start creating the overall flow. Okay, that is the main thing, and which I'll show you just now, and then my live demo ends. So it is writing a plan. See, I'll show you the writing plan. So it has created the phase one, that is engineering brief. ठीक है, problem statements, functional requirements and stuff, assumptions, risk. Phase two पूरा architecture बनाया है इसने, major components, API design, technology decisions and stuff. Phase three is execution plan पूरा. Phase five, because phase four is coding. Okay, so we उसने phase four निकाल के directly as phase five, that is preview, pre-implementation review checklist. Okay, and then here are the tools. You can just hit enter and it can start building. Okay, and just a sec. Okay, so here is the thing. The future engineer, this is my last line, last slide as well. The future engineers are the best engineers, won't be the ones who write code the fastest, but they will be the ones who design the best engineering workflows. Okay, so this is what I wanted to end on. Okay, and if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. You can also send me a personal chat on Zoom as well. Okay, and this is what I wanted to say at last. Thank you. But the thing is, AI won't replace engineers, but it will amplify who know how to think. Okay, and that is how it would work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Ashil. A round of applause in emojis or whatever in chat. You can drop in a thumbs up if you liked Harshil's session over here. And it was a very, very informational session for everyone who's writing code. And yep, thank you for sharing this such a practical insights on AI or engineering workflows and showing us how to make AI a seamless part of our development process. Well, our next session explores a workflow that completely changed at least how I think about reviewing code as demos. And instead of jumping straight into code diffs, what if you could review a narrated demo of the feature built by the agent, right? So please welcome with me Shrey Shah, Senior AI Engineer at Microsoft. Shrey, over to you.
Hi everyone. As Sujal mentioned, my name is Shrey. I wanted to introduce myself before I get started. So I have been coding using AI for about 6 years at this point, 6.5 years maybe, since very early days of Copilot. So I have seen the transition like from just autocomplete, tap autocomplete to multiple um, multiple functions added to chat-based workflows to directly like applying edits in Cursor in very early days of Cursor to then like Composer, which was a mode in Cursor back in 23, to then Cursor's agent, and to the now then like loops and now factories. So I've seen like all of this transition across like the coding industry in the AI coding space. And I wanted to ask a question to everyone before I start my demo. Who has who over here has written more than, let's say, 1,000 lines of code with a coding assistant? Can you guys raise your hands? All right. And for the people who raised their hands, if you could put in chat, for that 1,000 lines or more than 1,000 lines of code that you've written using AI, how many of you spent more than 10 minutes reviewing that code? Okay, I just get one answer. So just to give context, like normally I would like probably spend 3 to 4 hours reviewing 1,000 lines of code. It just does not work anymore. It just does not scale anymore, right? Because at the end of the day, like there is we humans physically cannot review that much code. It is not humanly possible for us to review that amount of code. Um, so which is what brings me to my current topic, which is how do we do code reviews and how do you do effective code reviews, right? Not just using Cursor, but also using any tool that you want. And just to give you guys some of my background, like I was one of the first Cursor ambassadors in the world. I am one of the first Claude community leaders for Anthropic, and my team works on Copilot Cowork that is being used by hundreds of millions of users across the world. So I have been not just using these coding models, but I've also been building this. So with that, I will get started. Let me share my screen. So as I mentioned, I'll give a hint that the bottleneck has shifted, right? If you ask someone like, 6 months ago, or maybe, yeah, even 6 months ago before Opus 4.5, people would say like uh, writing code is still a bottleneck because we could not get reliable code out. It was really hard to make agents give you reliable code end to end that just works. That is no longer the case with new models like Fable and GPT 5.6. You can pretty much write loops or factories that will do end-to-end validation for the features that you're working on and just give you the working code out. But there is one thing that they don't solve, which is like, yes, they give you the code out, they test everything end to end, but they still give you 5,000 lines of PR to review. Is it humanly possible to review that much code? For me, it's not. I just can't do it. It creates huge cognitive debt. Before I even start reviewing the code, I don't even know like what the agents did or whether it works or not. So I would like typically have to like um, clone the repo in my local and then restart to see how it works. So I wanted to talk about code review and how to do it properly, not just in Cursor but in any tool, but specifically I'll show why Cursor's reviews are better than any other tool that I've used. Okay, so first I wanted to show this code review bench. So when we are doing code review, I want to use the best model possible for code review, which makes sense because if you are writing code using the best tool, best models, why not just also use the best tool to review the code? Because now the bottleneck has shifted. You're writing so much code but you're not reviewing that much code, right? So how do you make sure that you get the best possible tool for your review? So you see this code review benchmark. So this tells you what is the F1 score for for a specific tool, right? So here, as you can see, Cursor's bug bar is 45%, but Cubic
Your
is
screen is
16.
not visible, Shrey.
It's not visible?
No.
Oh,
It is actually, it is visible. It is visible.
let me share
Not
again.
visible to some of us.
Actually, I believe you are pinned, Sujal. Could
Okay.
you please share it
Yes,
again?
Shrujal is
Okay, let
Yeah,
me
just a minute. Yeah.
more. Can you guys see it now?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right. Yeah. So earlier I was talking about this, that 85% of the people who are working in a industry are saying that the code review is the new bottleneck. It's not about, writing code. And that's what I talked about earlier, just sharing the screen again. And then I wanted to talk about like the code review leaderboard, meaning like which tools perform the best at code review. So we're going to look at this from multiple different angles, not just one angle. You guys are able to see the code review bench screen, right? Or no?
No, I'm not able to see it.
Just a second, Shrey.
The screen is visible to me, I guess, but
Yeah.
I think so because
Yeah.
yeah.
Shrey, can you reshare it by
now it's
copy?
visible.
Yeah. Now it's
Yeah.
visible, right? Okay, perfect. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know what's
Shrey, you
going.
can share it again and it will be visible to everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys.
Yeah, now it is visible, yes.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, perfect. I don't know what went wrong. I didn't do anything different, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you guys can see, I have this code review leaderboard benchmark. So we're gonna take a look at code review from multiple different angles. So one angle I want to share about is like, okay, what is the best tool for you guys to review your code, right? So for that, you can take a look at this bench to figure out, okay, that Cubic.dev or Codo are the two best tools to review your code. And the difference is huge, right? Cursor's Bugbot works really well if you're already into Cursor's ecosystem. And I'll also talk about why. But Cubic.dev is an amazing tool, so you can use that for code review, and then you can pair that with cursor automations to actually like solve all the comments by Cubic.dev, or you can also supply that along with cursor's bugbot. So you have two code review tools to review your code. That's what I do. I have cursor's bugbot always running, but then I also have Cubic.dev running separately on a separate instance to like get my code reviewed from multiple different angles. Okay, so that's like how to pick the best tool for reviewing the code, right? But then, there is different things. So for example, let's say I mainly write front end, or I mainly write my code using TypeScript. So how do you decide what is the best tool to pick when you write most of your code in TypeScript? Well, now the tool changes. Now you have to pick CodeRabbit, because if you're working with TypeScript, then I think CodeRabbit does the best job, right? So as you can see, it's not just that you pick one tool based on one metric and then decide that that's the best tool to use, right? Um, for Java, GitHub Copilot works the best as a code review agent. It is not Cursor, it is not Cubic.dev, it is not any other tool, right? What if you write a lot of cache? Well, it's different tool. So what I'm trying to get here is that you should pick the tool based on your own workflows. Do some benchmarks first on your code base to see which one works really well for your use case, and then use that tool. Write a benchmark for your code base to understand which tool finds the most issues. I deliberately put issues in my code, bugs in my code, and then see which tool really catches my issues in my code, right? Or just like if you don't have time, just like pick your language and then pick a tool based on that, right? That will usually work really well. Now, why is Cursor's Bugbot really what, right? So I'll say why. Let me go to the docs. All right. So I don't want to like go through all the theory, but just wanted to show that um, with Bugbot, every single it is not here. Yeah. So this is where I wanted to get to. Um, that for Bugbot, it is not just one higher level bugbot.md file. So think of it like a file or a prompt that you define for code reviews. How to do code reviews in your project, right? So it is not just about like a project level rule file, but you can also get as general as you want. Meaning for every single module, or in simple terms, for every single folder in your project, you can have your rules for reviewing that code in that folder, right? So you can go as granular as you want, and that's why you get really power. You really see the power of Bugbot. If you just have one project level Bugbot at a time, it's too broad because you might have front end, back end, right? Maybe some other shared modules, a lot of things in your code base, but they all are different. You can have one rule apply to all of them. It's too much. So you can break it down by your folders, and then basically your bugbot.md file will dictate how that works. And then what you can do with cursor automation is actually, so for example, if I open up a cursor automation, and I'm glad that what happened? All right. So if I go to cursor automations, pick any repo you want, and then you can basically say for a new automation, right? You can add a trigger that whenever a pull request is opened, right? You add an instruction, something like um, take a look at the bugbot.md file. She's whisper flow. All right. You can see something like take a look at all the files changed, and take a look at bugbot.md file for all of the um, change modules in this pull request, and based on that, if there are any issues found in this repo, look at all the comments, and then update the bugbot.md file so that the same mistakes don't happen again for that specific module. This is very simple prompt. You can work on it, right, to make it better. But basically what I want to do is, let's say I want a PR closed, not open. So in this case, I'll just say pull request merged, right? I actually not use this. So whenever a pull request is merged in whatever repo by a specific person, so that's a trigger. So whenever a pull request is merged, meaning that this PR has been reviewed, right? So this PR has been reviewed by coding agents, by humans, whoever it is reviewed by. So now you have data. Now you have data of what kind of issues occur in that specific repo, right? In the specific module, in the specific file. So you can go as granular as you want, and then you can create this automation to basically create this recursive self-learning bugbot.md file or your rules that update based on your project. Meaning, the more code you review, the more data you're going to have about how your project breaks, and the better it gets. So if you keep updating this, and then also I think I showed in one of the other projects that that I had another automation, like for example, improve the harness. After PR is merged, right? You can actually add a cursor rule to make sure that it doesn't make the same mistake next time, right? So that you can review your bug board files to make sure that through automation, every single time a PR is merged, you automatically improve your bug board MD file. And if you know you also want along with that, make sure that you influence your coding agent to not the same mistake again from the beginning. So prevention is always better than cure, right? So rather than finding issues, you can also prevent issues by creating automation that create rules based on the data that's that's present in your GitHub history based on your reviewed comments. So if you do this in 6 months of time, you can have code base that will have really good harness, really good rules, bug bout rules, and your cursor rules or your skills, whatever you want, that will influence the agents to not make the same mistakes again and again and again. And as a result of that, like it's basically just like how devs work, right? If you're a developer working on a task, if you make one mistake, and if your seniors give you a review that, hey, you made this mistake, let's not repeat that next time, you're gonna remember that, right? Um, you're gonna learn from those mistakes, and then you're going to remember that. So 6 months down the line, if you're starting as a junior, 6 months after 6 months, you would have learned to not make the same mistakes. Why not give our coding teachers the same ability? That's that's where you can actually, get it to work reliably. Because if you can get it to work reliably, there's no point of using a coding agent. If you have to give it the same instructions every single time, if it makes the same mistake every single time, there is no point of coding using AI, in my opinion. So this is how cursor automations like solve those problems for you, right? You can also bring in context from your Slack, Microsoft Teams. You can also get context from your logs. So for example, like you can also have it learn from your issues, from your logs in Sentry or any other telemetry that you're using, right? So you can bring in context from anywhere and have your agents learn from it to not make the same mistakes every single time. All right. So that's about like how to fix some of those issues using Cursor's bug bout and Cursor's automation. Now, I wanted to cover one more thing. It is not just about reviewing the best tool, but also picking the best model to review the code. And that also has so many variations. For example, like this is the overall score of code review, right? So I think I think this is a little bit older benchmark. It doesn't have GPT 5.6 and Fable 5 or even GPT 5.5. Um, but I wanted to focus on the concept, not really specifics, right? So as you can see here, you can pick what you care the most about. Maybe you care the most about latency. Then you figure out which tool should I use to get really fast code reviews. Or if you just want to care about the score, overall score, you always pick Sonnet 4.5. But again, this is generic. We want to get specific, right? Let's say you only write code in Python. Which review tool? So, for example, if you know the Java 2.5 Pro is performing the best code reviews for Python files, you can ask your cursor or you can directly use Gemini 2.5 Pro in Cursor, or you can have an advisory strategy where like you can bring in Gemini CLI in Cursor, so the Cursor could use Gemini CLI to use Gemini 2.5 Pro for code reviews, right? Um, or you can use any other tool. Point is, pick your model as well, depending on the type of language you're working with, right? If it's a React framework, we use Gemini 3.1 Pro. Apparently, Gemini models work really, really well for code review, but they don't work really well for writing code, right? So knowing these things really help because they will tell you um, which tools to pick based on whatever your tech stack is. Make it personalized, and that's where you will definitely get the most value out of whatever coding agent or tool you're using. So I'm gonna close this one. I'm gonna close this one. There was one more um, benchmark by Factory.ai and GPT 5.2 used to work extremely well for code reviews, and I can vouch for this. Like I've used GPT 5.2 for code reviews, especially if I'm working with Node.js. I use GPT 5.2 for code reviews and not GPT 5.5 because it is much more thorough compared to even GPT 5.5. As you can see, the score 47 versus 60, which is weird because some models have some blind spots, and we need to identify which those blind spots are, right? Um, and this benchmarks like this, data like this helps me decide that, hey, okay, if I'm writing code using, I don't know, any model, I have to use like And as long as it's Node.js, I'm going to use GPT 5.2 for code review. So you can use the thermonuclear code review skill that showed earlier and pair it with this model to get the best output for your language, right? So that's what I was trying to get to. You can use whatever skill you want, you can use whatever tools you want, pick the model based on your use case, make it specialized. And then, yeah, again, same thing about cost as well. You can figure out which one, if you're really cost sensitive, I think, yeah, like you could pick minimax models for that. But that's the overall methodology of how you should pick your code review tools. But we talked about all of this. Point is, even after you have the best tool to review your code, you specialize the coding tools, you had a self-learning loop, you have recursive self-learning skills and agents, whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, you still have to review your code, right? It is still going to fix all those issues for you, maybe surface the issues for you, but you still have to review the code. You still have to review the 5,000 lines of code. Picking the best review tool does not neglect the fact that you still have to like review 5,000 lines of code, which in my opinion is brutal. I cannot do it, right? At this point, I just can't. Like, even at Microsoft, I just can't because it's like it is just not humanly possible, right? So you have to build your org and your team in a way that supports agentic coding. Because otherwise, you're gonna have bugs and issues in production, and you're gonna make a lot of yeah, it's just not scalable anymore. So you wanna move fast, but you wanna move fast securely and safely. So, and that's what brings me to again back to Cursor and why you should use Cursor for and how you can use Cursor to solve some of these problems. Okay, so I had a coding agent running just before we started talking here. So I have this very, very basic repo, which is basically a super base starter. It's just a template repo that has like, basic super base and TypeScript. So it's a very basic template repo. It doesn't have anything. But let's say I wanted to convert this app into, let's say, a task management app. So that's what I did. That we are converting this into a task manager app. Can you build a beautiful landing page for this? Make sure to record a demo and video and send it to me. Example page is attached, image of the different SaaS repo, right? Um, so that's a simple prompt, only 3 lines, nothing fancy. But let's take a look at the agents.md here. Right. So this is all like basic, like just is like how to use the repo, right? But I have this one 3 lines here in my agents.md that is like direct every video you record like a human. I give you the 11 Labs API key. First record the video like you normally would, and then generate the audio, and then put them together, and then just give me whatever you want to use. And this is the voice ID I wanted to use. So let's see what it did. So it created a pull request right over here. Let's say I wanted to get the video in the pull request as well. So I'll just say, put the video. Can you put the video in the PR as well, please? And just to make it fast, I use Grok 4.5. But I normally would only use Fable or GPT 5.6. Did it even? Yeah. So it's working on it now. No, I mean, no, I meant, can you? No, I meant, can you attach the video file to the PR as well? So what I'm trying to get to is I wanted to also attach the demo file to the PR as well, so that whoever is reviewing that code can just, listen to that and make sure that it works as expected, right? So what this really solves is it solves the cognitive debt, because before you review the diff, for example, if I showed you guys this diff, it changed 7 files. What does this tell me? Do I know whether it works? Do I know whether I like the design? How do I know? I don't know. I don't even know if it works or not, right? But let's say it has um, um it was peer number 9, not 8. Yeah, so it's this one. Yep. So now it has the video. I'm gonna download the video and then we're gonna play it to see how it works. So that's the video. So I'm gonna download it. It doesn't. Yeah. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna download that and I'm gonna play that now.
Hey, welcome to Harbor, our new Task Manager landing page. Harbor is calm, focused, and built for people who actually ship. Up top. Hey, welcome to Harbor, our new Task Manager landing page. Harbor is calm, focused, and built. Up top, the brand sits front and center. Harbor, with a simple promise. Your work, finally at rest. From here, you can start free or sign in if you already have a workspace. Now let's look at the product board. You've got today, this week, and waiting lanes. So priorities stay clear without the usual tool noise. Scrolling further, this is the daily rhythm. Capture once, choose the next right thing, and close the loop. For teams, Harbor keeps owners, handoffs, and blockers attached to the work itself. Shared focus without shared chaos. And down here, the invite is simple. Bring your work to Harbor. Task management with room to breathe.
All right. Were you guys able to listen to the audio as well, please, or no?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
Shubhi.
yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can see, you can actually give it, you know, 11 Labs API key or any other audio generation API key, and it will also create audio for you. So, and my prompt here was very simple, right? In production, in my real workflows, I have my actual avatar talking. So it's not just audio, but it's also my face, my video on a corner, as if like I'm the one recording the demo, right? And then it also is my voice. I think I'm out of Elon Labs credits because this is my voice ID. It should have created the voice in my voice, but it didn't because I think I'm out of credits. But um, point is, you can ask it to you know, create video demos of whatever you're working on. Maybe you can also have it include thinking traces to actually walk you through why it made the changes and not just like walk you through the demo. So you can go as granular as you want, you can go as creative as you want. You can also have your avatar talking if you really want to do it that way, but it's just a bit more expensive to do it that way. Was it? I think for a video like this, I would have spent about $3 on my avatar cost, and then about I think 20 cents for Eleven Labs, and then the model cost. So yeah, but I think if you really think about the value, I think the value is that now I can, you know, understand what changes were made and whether it actually works or not. Because now when you ask the model to record a video, it actually has to like review every single screen one by one to make sure that the screens looked correct, and then attach the right frame to the audio so that the model has to do a lot of testing in order to actually record a video. So when you ask it to record a video, it's not just recording videos, it's also testing its own work and validating its own work, right? So, and I think it would have done that. I think it just hid a lot of the details afterwards. Let me see if I can show you guys some of that. Um, yeah, so generate the audio over here. and then it's recording a video, and then yeah. In this case, I don't think it made a mistake, so it just went very smooth. But it could have made a mistake and figure out that I made a mistake here and corrected itself. Also, the reason this works in Cursor and not in other tools um, is because Cursor has an actual computer. So, for example, I can take control of this computer right now. So, for example, I think I should be able to close this window. So, this is a computer that I can control fully myself as well if I wanted to. It's not just a computer that Cursor controls, but I can also control this computer myself as if I'm doing it right now, right? So yes, you can actually test the app itself yourself as well manually without trying to like clone this in your machine and then trying to test it. The app is running right now, so I can test it right now directly in the browser, which saves me a lot of time. So even after reviewing a demo, if I have some doubts, I can just directly go and test the app here myself without trying to like clone it locally and then running it locally. Because this is the power of Cursor's Cloud. I think this is why I love it so much, because you can just directly do things uh, over here. So yeah, I think this is what I wanted to convey and show. And hopefully you guys got a lot of value. If you guys have any questions, I think you can probably take it during the Q&A. But yeah, that'll be all from my side.
Let's give Shreya a huge round of applause, everyone. Well, thank you, Shreya, for sharing such a unique perspective on the importance of reviewing code via demos and not devs, where we might not even get to know if that's correct or not. And I hope everyone walks away with a completely new way of thinking about code reviews, right? So let's do one thing. Let's have a quick group pick around the room, right? So I'll request everyone to just turn on their cameras. I'll give everyone 30 seconds to just do that. We'll wait for them. And then we can move ahead with the AMA with the cursor ambassadors, right? So request everyone to just open the cameras. Yep. I see quite opening up. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have 30 more seconds for those who want to turn on the cameras. Hi everyone again.
It looks like movie got over and everyone is now walking out of the movie theater.
Well, now comes the best part of the movie though, after this. Okay, so everyone a thumbs up? Perfect, perfect. Yeah. So now we can move on to the AMA with cursor ambassadors. Okay. So I'll just share my screen. I hope it's visible now. Yeah. Okay. Perfect, perfect. Well, you already know about Shrey. I'd like Krishna C over here and Vishal Bhai to introduce themselves, and then we can start with the AMS people have shared with us. And also, you can drop your questions in the chat until the ones we curate well that people have sent. So yeah, Krishna Bhai or Vishal Bhai, any one of you would like to go first.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Hey everyone. Yeah. Uh, uh, hey everyone. I'm Krishna Sijarja. I'm a senior software engineer at EPAM, and I recently joined as a Cursor ambassador at Cursor itself. And we recently done one of the workshop at Ahmedabad and other one in the Rajkot. And right now we are planning to one another hackathon at Ahmedabad itself. So yeah, looking forward to it. It's good to see Sray first time. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. So yeah, hey everyone, I'm Vishal Nai. I'm also Cursor ambassador and recently organized a workshop at Rajkot. It went well, and now we are organizing a hackathon as mentioned by Krishna Sri together. We are getting amazing response, and yeah, it's great to see all of you here, and great to connect with Shay and Sujal. Always love to contribute to the community. Always available for all of you guys. You can reach out to us. And yeah, let's have that AMS session.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Vishal. Yeah. So let's move on to the first question. Well, Shrey, I'd like to know this, like how does Cursor evaluate whether an AI generated code change is actually production ready beyond simply passing tests? So I would like to have your takes on this.
Yeah. So I think I'll say cursor can help evaluate whether it's ready or not. It's it gives you all the tools for you. It enables you to make your best guess because cursor cannot understand your business logic, right? So cursor can never, in my opinion, cursor any other tool cannot fully make a change production ready. In my view, it is up to you to use the tools available that are provided by cursor to make sure that your code is production ready, right? And the
Right,
way to
right.
do it is, like I mentioned, like you can use cursor automations to self-learn from your mistakes, um, set up proper rules. So cursor has four different types of rules. I think when I did the event back in December, I guess, in Vadodara, I showed like how to set up cursor rules properly. So you know, set up rules properly, set up your bug bout rules properly, and set up your automations properly to make sure that you catch all the issues. And then, like I mentioned, have it create demos, test the change in the computer that cursor creates for you, and that's how you can make sure that your change is actually production ready beyond simply passing tests. Because passing tests, unit tests, is nothing. The models can cheat, right? So I would never rely on unit tests or any traditional coding, but you can ask, you can actually create a manual test case sheet using um, Excel, and then like ask cursor to use computer use to actually test through all of those changes one by one, like a manual tester, and not like a programmer that can cheat. So I think that's the answer. Yeah.
Perfect. Also, Krishna Singh or Vishal, anything you'd like to add to this?
I think Shrey covered most of it. Yeah, always it's good to keep human in the loop when you're doing any production ready code.
Mhm.
So always keep yourself in the loop and always review by yourself. So yeah.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, let's move on to the next question. Like, what engineering practices have you found most effective for teams adopting AI first development without increasing technical debt? So, Krishna, I'd like to know your takes on this.
Uh, I usually feels like AI is specifically like more of a interest word, right? So in the team itself, I usually do like run some basic sessions on that, so that people knows like as Ray did some amazing demo stuff, right? So instead of going on the presentation part, I usually go ahead with the live session itself, so that it would be understand how the real world will work with the particular AI tool itself, and set some of the rules in the team basis itself. So that would be really helpful in terms of when we go ahead with the team.
Right, right, right. Got it. Shreya and Vishal, you'd like anything to add to this?
In terms of engineering practices, I always prefer to have a kind of have a better prompts into it, giving proper actual context to whatever I do require for it, and also like as you mentioned, like skills, plugins, MCPs are the best to must have like into the cursor. So I always prefer to have it so I can give the extra context to my questions to the AI LLM. So it's always best practices and engineering practices. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, perfect. So,
Yeah.
as coding agent, yeah, Shreya, you were saying.
No, I was just saying that in my view, for teams, specifically, every single person in the team should have the same AI coding tools as developers.
Mhm.
Even like QAs and technical writers, the entire team has to be AI first in order to make AI assisted coding work. Because if your team does not have the same tools, I don't think any amount of context engineering, any amount of MCP tools, custom tools, whatever you have, it's not going to work unless your entire team is on board and the entire team is maintaining the shared context for the models. Like for example, if one person is maintaining the bug bot review files, but if other
Hmm.
person is not, it's not going to work,
It's a mess. Yeah.
right? So the you need to like rethink your org structure, in my view, because without redesigning the org structure, you cannot make it work. It simply will not work.
Not perfect. So, as coding agents become more autonomous, what do you think will remain uniquely human in the software development life cycle? Vishal bhai, any takes on this?
Yeah, as I mentioned, like anyway, like whatever AI you going to use
Yeah.
or you are using, you should always keep yourself in the loop, right? Because AI can
Right.
hallucinate anytime because you never trust the code they are providing. So
Hmm.
yeah, like keep yourself in the loop, keep the reviews, and without pushing to the production, always do a proper code reviews and the stuffs. Yeah.
Right. Perfect, perfect. So, what capabilities or workflows do your own engineers use daily in Cursor that most users aren't taking advantage of yet? I think Shrey will be able to answer this quite well.
Um, I think, um, like I mentioned, I think it's mainly going to be even at Cursor. I think it's going to be like um, using the Cursor automations and also um, using the Cursor Cloud agents. I think people don't realize how powerful cloud agents are, and
Right.
you need to like force yourself to use the cloud agents more and more
Hmm.
to really understand and free yourself from your computer. Like I never code using my computer anymore. So I think using the cloud agents more and using the automations more, I think it's like I think in my opinion they're like two of the most underrated capabilities that Cursor provides that people don't really realize how powerful those things are.
Right. And Krishna Singh and Vishal bhai, you even hosted a workshop regarding it recently, right? So, if you'd like to add something to this about the cloud agents.
I saw that people are not using the like features or whatever are existing in the cursor, right? People
Hmm.
are not using plan mode. People are not using scales, commands. They are not using anything. They are just using a cursor or any AI tool as a just like a Chat GPT or Google, right?
Right.
So I would suggest everyone to use as much as whatever it is in inside the cursor. And
Hmm.
as Ray mentioned, like automation is one of that thing. Remote control is one of the other thing. You can like control your entire desktop via remotely via the cursor mobile app as well. So yeah, those are
Right.
the like unique features we can take advantage. Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. Perfect. So, what advice would you give to developers who want to build AI native products instead of simply adding AI features to existing applications? Krishna Sibai, you'd like to take this?
Yep, I mean, like right now, most of the people are in the name of AI, they are adding just simply feature like summarize the particular things and improve the particular text itself. But instead of the way Srey already saw a demo, right? The entire workflow will be created. So this is the real use of AI. That's called the entire AI native product itself. So that way we have to start thinking, and accordingly we have to build the applications. That's the real, we can say, the AI native app itself.
Right. Shrey bhai and Vishal bhai, any piece of advice from your sides about this?
I
Fantastic.
would say change your workflows when a new model drops.
Hmm.
Understand the new capabilities that a model offers, and then keep changing your workflows every 3 months. There is no way
Right.
like build a product in such a way that you can just reprint the product using the new models.
Hmm.
Uh, have two separate, I don't want to say spec files, but because it's not used properly anymore, but have two separate documents, one that describes your business logic in very detail, and then one document that describes the tech stack if you're using AI native products, because AI native products change with the models
Hmm.
simply because if you think about it, like skills did not exist before Opus 4.5.
Right.
I mean, they were created for Opus 4.5 because Anthropic realized that this is a new capability, and now the models can actually just call Markdown files, pipe it to a CLI and it can get the job done, right? It's insane to think that a markdown file is a service these days because you can execute that markdown file, right? Point is that didn't exist and that was not possible before Opus 4.5. Meaning, if you build an agent before Opus 4.5, that agent is outdated. So you need to rebuild your entire agent, right? So like in my view,
That is exactly right. Agent frameworks built
what?
prior to Claude Opus 4.0.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So point is keep your business logic separate from technical implementation and keep it detailed so that when a new model drops with new capabilities, you can just reprint your product. You don't have to you should not care about the code anymore because code is nothing. It's nothing anymore. Your business logic, I think that's the main thing that is your business and that entire business is just marked down now, in my view. If you can do it right, I think that's the because I built in my previous startup, I rebuilt my agent 4 times in a span of 1 year because the models kept changing and I could not keep the same code because it just did not make sense anymore. So that's what I would say because with the new capabilities every few months, it doesn't make sense to keep the same agents because some other company will just build it from scratch and outperform you because they are just using new capabilities, new orchestration, new sub agents, new, for example, like Fable 5, it creates its own. If you ask it, it's going to create its own custom harness for a specific task and then implement that task. So it doesn't just use like raw cloud code to implement it. It can create its own harness, its own cloud code to implement that task. That didn't exist before. That's a new capability. You need to understand that, right? So that's what I mean. Like if your business logic is separate from your code, well, you can just reprint the entire thing with the new capabilities. So that's my advice: is keep your business logic very secure. Make sure that you maintain it correctly, and then like just print it when a new model drops. That's it.
Perfect, perfect. So, up to the next question, like, do data analysts and engineers in your team use AI agents for tasks like SQL generation, dashboard creation, or insight generation? I think Vishal, why you like to take anything on this?
Yes, yes. Currently, whatever project I'm working on, that it is currently entire data analyst and data scientist team. So they are heavily using the AI agents mostly for like data quality, to reduce the data size, whatever they are having by the filtering of the needed data, whatever they were actually targeting. So they are using heavily into it. They are having recipes and all the setups into it in the Python. They are like having a cron job with the AI agents. It can do its own job by data filtering and for the data quality. Yeah.
Got it, got it, got it. Perfect. Well, again, how is Cursor thinking about multi-agent development workflows where different agents handle planning, implementation, testing, and code review? So, any of you like to take anything on this?
So yeah, AI can work, parallelly as we show that it is having any sub agents into it, right? So if when you provide any instruction to it, it automatically divide that responsibility into the sub agents based on the requirement you are having. So if you are asking for some larger task or any command which requires sub agents, it will automatically divide the responsibility, right? It will divide those tasks into sub agents, and sub agents will individually works into their separate context window, and altogether they are monitoring by the orchestrator, which will be your main context window.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Got it. So, Krishna Shiva, what AI skills are most valuable for fresh students pursuing IT, computer, AI, ML engineering in this particular era of 2026?
I mean, nowadays, JavaScript itself is a very um, adaptive things for the AI itself, right? So that you just have to think as a student to find out any of the project, and by the using of cursor or any of the tool, I can say like Webflow tool or the any of the tool that you have, you can simply create the application, but it must be the something unique from the market itself. Like you can see in the online right now in the social media itself, people are creating such an amazing website, even with no knowledge of the programming itself. But nowadays AI is so powerful that you can simply create whatever you can think. So that's what I think.
Got it. Well, how's the scenario there in the Silicon Valley, actually?
I mean, you'll be surprised to know that even students from Stanford are lagging behind these days. Because you gotta study 3 hours a day in order to stay updated with the industry. So, in my view, I think everyone should be learning how to build headless software, not headed software, but headless software, because you know you can ask the model to build a website or a, yeah, I mean it's table stakes at this point, it will just work. But if you ask it to create a good skill, it sucks. It
Right.
sucks. If you're just like simply writing one or two markdown files, it's fine. But like I see skills as the agents and not markdown files. So when I build skills, I treat them as executable agents. Because agents at this point like are the coding agents, like as we all know now that like all you need to give it is bash and some file execution tools, and it can do pretty much anything you want. So your business logic can live in skills. So learn how to build really good skills. In my view, learn how to build headless software, or learn how to convert any software into a headless software,
Right.
right? Learn how to operate um, personal assistants like OpenClaw and Hermes. Most of my coding work, even I operate my cursor from Hermes. I don't operate cursor from cursor. I operate cursor from Hermes. Um, so learn those skills. I think those are immensely valuable because that's what 0.1% of the population in Silicon Valley uses. I'm not talking about what Silicon Valley, but what 0.1% in Silicon Valley operates like that.
Got it.
So, and that is incredibly hard because building really good skills is incredibly hard. Building really good headless software, meaning when you write software for humans, you write a lot of APIs and front end. When you write software for agents, you have to understand what context goes in and at what time and how it gets passed, when it gets passed, right? What you surface, and then how it executes, what the agents can debug itself, whether they can fix itself as well or not during the execution. It all of it has to be there. And if you're building any sort of like web app, well, the agents have to know the state of the front end as well. I mean, like if you're building a React application, the your AI agent has to also know of the React state. Meaning, if there is an event that's happening on the front end, the agents should also know that. So if you have to build front end, make sure that the agents are aware of all the actions that human is performing on the website, not just like a chat, but it should know the state of the front end as well. So I think that's what you should focus on building if you're building right now, and you will not have to look for a job if you do these things correctly.
Right. Right. That's perfect. That's perfect. So, what beginner projects do you recommend building with Cursor? Vishal, would like to take this?
Yeah, like I would suggest like instead of going full-fledged product because people are I saw people like people are using plan mode with the cursor or any AI tool, but they are like creating an entire plan for like production ready application. So I would suggest to go first with the MVP kind of a small with minimal modules you are having, and just test it out in the with a few user base, and then you go with the production kind of application. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Perfect. So, what engineering workflows and best practices have emerged from Cursor's own team that have consistently improved developer productivity while maintaining code quality at scale? So, Shreya or Krishna Bhai, any of you would like to take this?
Um, I don't think I can speak to what Cursor's product team does internally, right?
Right.
Because we don't work for Cursor, but in general, I think most of the people. So I talk to like Eric and some other engineers at Cursor pretty often, and they all use or build um, their own harnesses using Cursor SDK,
Mhm.
and that improves the quality of the work done and productivity a lot more. So that's what I would say. Like use the SDKs to build your own custom harnesses, and that will give you the best outcome possible out of Cursor.
Mhm. Perfect. So, yeah. And someone saying like I'm new to Cursor, what feature should I learn first? Krishna Sibai would like to take this.
I think the plan mode.
Yep.
Plan mode is a very powerful, and you have to utilize it properly. Like as Vishal mentioned, right? We don't have to give the entire things in the single plan itself. Instead of we have to separate it in a small chunk and use it wisely, and accordingly you'll get the proper output on that.
Right, right. So I think any of you can add to this, Vishal Bhai or Surya Bhai.
Yeah, in my view, Cursor rules above everything else.
Mhm.
That is the only thing that matters.
Mhm.
If that is not done correctly, nothing else you do matters. That's the first thing you should use. Whenever you set up a project, make sure to use four types of cursor rules correctly. It can directly go into the plan mode if your rules are set up correctly, right?
Right.
So just set up the rules, uh, give it the context of your project and your preferences, and that's all.
Right.
Yeah, along with rules, you can also set up the commands like custom commands for the reusable prompts you are mostly
Mhm.
using, frequently using in your day-to-day life. So you don't need to write the same command multiple times. So yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So the next question is, are there any free learning resources or tutorials you'd recommend? Well, we'll share that in the upcoming slides as well. And if any of you have to add anything to that, we can add at that time as well. And what new AI capabilities Cursor is working on for large production code bases? So I like as Shri mentioned, we don't work with the internal team, but if you have anything to add to this, feel free to.
I think we are
Okay,
good.
okay, perfect. So
We
is
are
there
we
a
are working on Orbit, right? Not
Yeah,
Orbit. What is it called?
Origin.
Origin.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So that is what we are working on for. Yep, that is the beta that we can share. So is there any subscription free for students? Like as we experienced it once, like they do have a subscription for students, but it is not available in the Indian region yet. It was available for a 24-hour window, and those who claimed were able to use it for an year. But right now, as for Indian region, I don't think there is any dedicated subscription free for students. So I think I'm right over here, or if you'd like to add anything to it.
Yes, yes, you are right. Like recently, we got a multiple queries on the same thing for
Right.
from students. So yeah, I also checked with the Cursor team. They mentioned like they are also only having those student on campus program on the US region only. They were planning to launch it in India, but not decided yet. So yeah.
Okay, okay. And that takes us to the last question of AMA, like how to integrate Cursor to implement a Jira workflow, where if Jira ticket has a special tag, it will start the pipeline and execute the task mentioned in the Jira description. I think it has to do pretty much with the automations, and I am sure like Shrey, Krishna, Shri, Vishal, you'll be using maybe it at the company. So if you can share any workflows or any tips regarding it, or even how to integrate it.
MCP would be the best. I'm using like a Rally MCP in my
Mhm.
current project. I also used the Jira MCP earlier. So MCP is the like a thing which you can set up in your cursor ID once, and it will have the like list of tools available into it, so you can use it daily. So I'm using it via Rally MCP right now. it is having list of tools available. Like I can fetch my rally ticket from ID itself by just giving the ticket number. It can fetch the entire details, user story. It can also create the plan for me, like what can I build for this user story and all. So yeah,
Right,
MCP is the
right.
best.
Perfect.
I would I would do it a little bit differently. I you already have your Jira bots in Slack or
Mhm.
Teams, whatever app you're using. So I would put that in my Slack because MCPs, third-party MCPs are, not that secure, right? And also, uh, in real world, when you're working on a task, like you would typically like get a ping from whenever an issue is created, you will get that in Slack. So in Slack itself, you can ask Cursor to take a look at the Jira and even like ask your colleagues clarifying questions if you need to, and ask Cursor to spin up a cloud agent directly from your Slack. Also, Jira has cursor integration. So directly on Jira, you could just say, "Hey, cursor, can you go and implement this?" Without even opening an IDE in the ticket itself, you can say, "Hey, cursor, can you get to working?" And cursor will just start working directly from Jira tickets itself on Jira. You don't even have to come back to your IDE. So that's how I would do it.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. So if anyone has any questions, you can drop it in the chat right now. How Cursor OSS stack should look like for Cursor? Someone has asked. The Punendra Shukla has asked this. So anyone of you like to address that?
Sorry, what's the question here? 'Cause your screen is showing question 15, which is the Jira
Yeah, yeah,
workflow.
yeah. No, I am reading it from the Zoom chat. Like how Cursor OSS stack should look like.
Can I ask? Can I speak? Right.
Yeah, yeah, you can speak.
Okay. So my question actually is like right now nowadays it is a huge cost for models, right? And for students like us or maybe some of the professionals even, that cost is really high if you are working on a very low grade startup or maybe working on your own startup and you have not been funded, right? So in that case, many of us tends to move to the OSS stack, open source model, open source harnesses and all those things. So if I have to use a cursor on that level, how can I use it? I think that a cursor can be connected with the open source models and we can have a particular harness for that, like PyAgent or whatever. But how to actually use it? Like someone said that we use it through Hermes, right? Hermes is okay. But means if I have to run at the very least cost for the cursor, like only $20 plan I want to include in the model and whatever is there. So I don't want to do that. I just want to use the entire OSS stack itself. So is there something like that for the cursor?
I don't think so, because
Okay.
Cursor will not make money if
Mhm.
they open it up to, any open source models. They will not make money on their harness, right? Because but you can definitely, there are ways to do it. I cannot talk about it. There are ways to do it. So go do your own research if you really want to go that route. But I
Mhm.
I don't think Cursor will, at least as far as I know, we don't have a plan to uh, support open source models as of now.
Right. Right. Anyone else has any questions before we wrap the session up? AMS. So I think that answers it all, and thank you very much, Ray, Krishna Bhai, and Vishal Bhai for joining us with this AM with ambassadors. We'll keep it open for Q&As in the Cursor Vadodara chat as well. We have one more question over here, though. They frequently include free access to popular models, right? So sometimes yes, and they even like increase limits. So right now you can use 2x of what the Grok 4.5 limit is over there. So you can use it if you have the pro account and so, like that. I think that is it about. Perfect, perfect. So yeah, thank you, Shay bhai. Thank you, Krishna bhai. Thank you, Vishal bhai, for joining us with the AMS. And before we wrap up, I'd like to share with you some resources that will help you continue your cursor journey. Somebody even asked for the resources. So Cursor docs should be your first stop whenever you are exploring a new feature or need detailed documentation. And we have this great thing known as Cursor workshops. They are free virtual sessions hosted regular by the Cursor team itself and community. So they cover everything from beginner topics like 101s and 201s of Cursor, and anyone can register and attend them. And I highly recommend keeping an eye on them. And Cursor Learn by one of our favorites, Lee Robinson, is a structured learning hub with tutorials, videos, and guided content to help you become a more effective cursor user. And right, so one small request before you leave. Please take 2 minutes to fill out the feedback form. Your feedback directly influences what we organize next, and this is the most important part in order to grow this community. So make sure you fill this form. I'll keep it on for the screen for 30 seconds, and you'll also receive it in the mail as well. So I'd like you to fill it. You'll also have received it in the chat, and also join the community, stay updated with us on WhatsApp. So you can have all the updates over there. Shrey, Krishna Bhai, Vishal Bhai, every one of us is active over there and will like to answer your questions over there as well in case you have missed over here. So we'll like you to join this over there as well. Will recording be shared? Yeah. Yes, Purnandu. The recording will be shared in a couple of days. So you'll get that. And a huge thank you to our speakers, Harshil and Shrey, for taking the time to share their experience. And I think it was a quite an informational and valuable session for us for practical workflows with our community. And thanks to the ambassadors, Krishna C. Jadeja, Vishal Nai, and Shresha, for joining the AMA, answering everyone's questions and all the queries, and making this community more welcoming and approachable. I think that what makes it beautiful in order to attend. And community events are never a one-person effort. A huge thank you to Shivang Parmar for managing event creatives. These beautiful slides that you can see over here were created by him, and for managing event and EAV for Parth Parmar for handling AV throughout 2 days event. Thank you, Parth, for joining us. So and finally, so this is just the beginning. We are already planning a first offline event where we'll have hands-on workshops, live demos, networking, and a lot more community interaction. And if you enjoyed today's event, help us grow this community by sharing your experience on X or LinkedIn and inviting your friends to join us our next meetup. You can tag me or the Cursor AI, Shrey, Vishal Bhai, Harshil, Krishna Bhai, everyone on your X, and we'll make sure we repost it and acknowledge it accordingly. And before you leave, don't forget to complete the feedback form again. It will help us make the upcoming offline event even better. And thank you once again for spending your evening with us. And I hope to see all of you very soon. So we can have the cameras on for the last time for a bye-bye. See you off.
Yeah. Thanks,
See you
everyone.
all soon. Yep. See you all
Bye.
soon in the offline meetup. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Yep. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Parth. Thank you, Parth, for the compliments. See you all around. Yep, Punendu Shukla. Thanks for being the most active one in the room. I totally appreciate that. See you soon. See you soon, Harsh. Yeah. क्या था?